Good morning, students. After a long time, I'm coming up again. Now, we were doing with Unit 1, which is Companies Law Act 2013. In that, we've already covered up with definition of company, characteristics, the advantages, disadvantages, and the different types of company. Now, hope you're all clear till here. Having understood till here, now we will move to the next, which are the important documents which are required for the formation of a company, which is the memorandum and the articles of association. So we will be doing with what is a memorandum of association, its contents, what is articles of association and its contents. A very important thing which you all should know. Now, what is memorandum of association in a company law? It is the charter of the company and defines the scope of what a company is going to do. What are the different activities that the company would be doing? So it defines the relation of the company with the rights of the members of the company, their interest, and also tells us the relationship of the company with the members. In short, it is simply the constitution, or what is a company and what are its activities that it's going to do. It contains the fundamental provisions of the company's constitution and all those essential conditions upon which the company can be incorporated. It determines the powers and limitations of the company and also the scope beyond which company's operations cannot go. So it is a primary document which is required. According to the Companies Act 2013, memorandum means it is a memorandum of association as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuance of any previous company law or this act. So it is simply the constitution or charter of a company describing what are the various activities that the company is going to do, what are the duties of the members and operations beyond which it cannot do. Now, why should I have, before going to this, let us do with what are the different, what is memorandum, contents of memorandum of association, the name of the company, so it has a name clause, a situation or registered office clause, objects clause, liability clause, the capital clause, only in case of company having share capital, association and subscription clause, and the succession clause, only in the case of one person company. Now, why is it that, what is the importance of having a memorandum of association? It helps those who deal with the company, the shareholders, members, etc., to the creditors to know the purpose of the company and its range of activities. What are the different range of activities that the company is going to do? So, the document of memorandum, it limits the company's capacity to contract. So, beyond which the activities it cannot do. So it strictly it mentions also in the memorandum of association at the time of its formation certain activities which it would be doing and beyond which it cannot carry on certain other activities. Clear with what is memorandum of association? It tells us basically what is the purpose for which I am having a company and what are the various activities which I would be conducting in the company. Now, let's move to the contents of memorandum of association. All dealing with one. It's as per the name says. The first one is name clause. Now, every company has a name. It cannot be that I can keep any name. Might be we have certain restrictions on it as well. So, according to the first clause of the memorandum, it must state the name of the company by which it wants to be known, subjected to the following restrictions. Now, why do I have these restrictions? Because there are many companies. So, there are certain restrictions as per the company's law. Now, what are these restrictions? The name of the company must not be identical with an existing company. For example, Reliance Industries. I should not have another company with the same name. Otherwise, it would create a confusion. No company will have the name which is undesirable in the opinion of the government. And the name does not mislead the public. For example, a company will not be allowed to use a name which is prohibited under the Emblems and Names Act 1950, etc. So certain restrictions are there which I cannot use the emblem, etc. Then the company must not use any names to suggest any connection with the government or state government. Without the prior approval of the government, I cannot keep use of these names. The name of a private company limited by shares must end with private limited. So these are the restrictions which has to be followed in the case of a name clause. Next, moving to the situation clause. Situation or registered office clause. Now it need not be that is it necessary that I have the registered office and the functioning of the company in the same place? Not required. So I can get the registration of the company done in a state and I can operate the activities in another state. They are subject to certain restrictions, terms and conditions also. Now this registered office clause requires the memorandum to mention the name of the state in which the registered office of the company is to be situated. A company must have its registered office ready within 15 days from its incorporation, and within 30 days of its incorporation, the verification of its registered office should be done. Now, the residence of the company will be the place from where the management and control of the business is carried on, and the incorporation, the registered office would be essential. So for the incorporation, before I incorporate a company, I need to have a registered office where there should be a proper office with state. But I can have a residence of the company. What is residence of the company? It is a place from where the management and control of the business is carried out. So these are two different things. Clear? Next, moving to objects clause. The objects clause, as the very name suggests, says it determines the purpose for which the company has been set up, and it determines the capacity of the company within which it has to carry on its activities. A company is not legally entitled to conduct any business activity that is not specifically mentioned in the objects clause. So I need to be very careful what do I mention in the objects clause. Now these objects clause are further classified into three main categories, which is the main object, the ancillary object, and other objects that will be pursued to accomplish the main object. So three categories: the main object, the ancillary object, and the other objects. How do I to accomplish the main object? However, the following points must be noted while preparing the objects clause. The objects of the company must be stated specifically and must not be ambiguous statement. It must be clear when I hear. It must not be something which says is or something. It should be clear on what my object is. The wordings, etc. used should be just clear. The objects of the company must not be illegal and they must not be against the provisions of the Companies Act. They must not be against the public policy of the country as well, which means hurting the sentiments of the people or carrying on activities which is affecting the public as of the country. Clear with all these three, I hope: name, registered office clause, and the objects clause. Next, moving on to the liability clause. As the very name suggests, says the fourth clause of the memorandum of every company states liability of its members. That is, whether the liability of its member is limited by shares or limited by guarantee or is unlimited. In case of company limited by shares, the members cannot be called upon to pay more than what remains unpaid. For example, I have 100 shares and I have paid only 50. I can be asked to pay the remaining 50 only. So the liability is of the shareholders, if I have paid fully, is nil. In the case of company limited by guarantee, the liability clause must state the amount each member has to pay at the time of the liquidation of the company. This is in the case of company limited by guarantee. Now in case of unlimited company, the liability of members is unlimited, therefore, and personal assets of the members can be used. So they will have to tell what are the personal assets of the members, so that in case of winding up, there would be, or could be utilized. Clear with liability? So we have three kinds of liability: in case of company limited by shares, in case of company limited by guarantee, and in case of unlimited company. Next, capital clause. This holds good only in the case of company having share capital. Now, this capital clause requires all companies limited by liability to mention the amount of capital with which the company is formed: 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 5 crores, 6 crores, etc. The capital of the company must be divided into smaller fixed value units, which are known as shares, and there is no legal limit on the amount of share capital. It can choose any amount. It can depends on the liability of the company which it can hold or the objects of the company. And a company cannot issue share capital exceeding the amount mentioned in the capital clause. So it has to take too much of importance in mentioning and deciding what would be its capital clause based on certain other factors, like what is the objects of the company, the number of shares, etc. Now next, moving to association and subscription clause. According to this clause, the memorandum must mention the amount of authorized share capital and the amount of shares taken by each subscriber or member. Now, the following are the statutory requirements regarding subscription. It must, firstly, the memorandum must be signed by each subscriber of these shares in the presence of at least one witness who attests the signatories. Each subscriber must take at least one share, and each subscriber must write the number of shares held by him. So this is important in case of subscription clause by the members. Next, moving is the succession clause. This is only in the case of one person company. According to this clause, the memorandum must state the name of the person who shall become the member of the company in the event of death of the subscriber. So, the above clauses are compulsory and are designated by Companies Act as conditions on the basis of which alone a company can be incorporated. So, before I go in for an incorporation, all these clauses have to be clearly mentioned in the Memorandum of Association. I repeat, Memorandum of Association is the primary document which contains the activities which the company is going to do, beyond which it cannot carry any activity. Now, this is in the registered office and anyone can have an access to it. Now, the importance of having a Memorandum of Association is, it is essential for a subscriber or a member to know, or an outsider, a shareholder or a creditor, to know what are the activities that the company is carrying on, according to which it could invest. Now, these are the following contents of the Memorandum of Association, which has to be followed as per the company's law and has to be mentioned in the Memorandum of Association. So, we call this as contents. It has to have a name clause which tells what is the name of the company, situation or registered office clause, the place where the registered office and the residential office of the company would be, the objects clause divided into three, the main, ancillary and other objects of the company, liability clause, companies limited by shares, company limited by guarantee and unlimited company. In all these cases, what would be the liability of the members. Capital clause, this is only in the case of company having share capital. It has to tell what is the share capital of the company beyond which it could not issue shares or have authorized capital. Association and subscription clause, how much is the member, it must be, firstly it must, how much is the members, how many shares with the, the authorized capital divided into small amounts or is known as shares. So how much of amount of shares is taken by the subscriber or member should be mentioned in the Memorandum of Association. Not only this, it must be signed by each subscriber in the presence of a witness who is attested as a signatory, and each subscriber must take at least one share compulsorily, and it must write the number of shares. Each subscriber must write the number of shares which is held by him. And lastly, it is the succession clause, which is only in the case of one person company. wherein the nominee details has to be furnished in case of death of a person who would become the